The Quiet Fighter, a story of voice, power, and respect. Elliot Grayson sat quietly at the end of the lunch table, slouched over his tray like he could fold himself out of existence if he just tried hard enough. He was 15, short for his age, 5 feet 7 inches on a good day, with soft features and a frame that hadn't yet decided whether to fill out or retreat inward. His hair light brown, unkempt hung over his brow, casting shadows over eyes that never held a stare too long. This was his 3rd week at Silver Ridge High, his 3rd school in 2 years thanks to his father's constant job relocations in corporate security, and already the name Elliot the Stammer Kid had begun to stick like gum on the sole of a shoe. He hated it. Not the moving, not even the stairs. The stutter. That damned stutter. It wasn't the nervous kind that came and went. It lived in his mouth like a coiled wire, ready to snap at the worst possible moments. Even something simple like asking to sit at a table became a slow-motion car crash. "See, can I sit here?" he asked that first day, gesturing toward an open seat beside a group of jocks in the cafeteria. They barely looked at him. When a FEMA-tall, wide-shouldered boy in a navy blue varsity jacket grinned. "Sure," says Stammer Boy. The guy mocked, over-enunciating the syllables like a game. The table howled with laughter. That was Logan Barrett, captain of the wrestling team, 2-time state champ, golden boy of Silver Ridge High. He was always flanked by his cronies. Tyson Reese, a skinny, sarcastic sprinter with a taste for cruelty, and Noah Brent, Logan's mountainous echo chamber. They didn't need a reason to go after someone. They just needed a moment. Elliot didn't sit. He just nodded stiffly, clutched his tray tighter, and walked away. He told himself the same thing he always did. Keep your head down. Get through the day. Nobody needs to know. That mantra had served him well, or at least prevented further damage. Nobody needed to know that for the past 8 years, 3 nights a week, Elliot trained at whatever local MMA gym his dad could find. Nobody needed to know that before his voice betrayed him, he'd won youth championships in 2 states. And absolutely nobody needed to know that his father, Hunter Grayson, former UFC middleweight contender turned private security specialist, had been training him since he was 7. At school, Elliot was invisible until he wasn't, and when he wasn't, it was never good. Logan and his crew made sure of that. In the locker room after gym, between classes in the cafeteria, they'd find him. G. Gray's son. Logan would jeer, drawing out every syllable like a knife. D, did you finish the H homework? Elliot would sigh, hand it over. Speaking up only made it worse. He remembered his father's words. Pick your battles. Not every fight is worth it, but sometimes a line gets crossed. One Monday, Elliot tried to pass by Logan's table unnoticed during lunch. He almost made it. Almost. "Hey, Stammer Boy," Logan called out. Elliot didn't stop. "Where you going?" "Too shy to sit with the cool kids." More laughter. Then a foot jabbed out from under the table. Elliot stumbled. His tray flew. A milk carton exploded. Spaghetti slopped across his shirt in a grotesque Rorschach of red. The cafeteria fell, silent. Then laughter exploded. Logan leaned back, arms crossed. Maybe if you could talk right, you could walk right too. Elliot knelt, red-faced and burning with embarrassment, picking up the shards of his pride. MS. When the lunch monitor finally came over. "What happened?" she asked. Logan was quick. "He tripped." "Happens." Elliot looked at her. He could tell the truth. But what would it change? "I tripped," he said quietly. That afternoon, his father noticed. "You're off," Hunter said as they sparred in the garage gym that night. Elliot shrugged. "I'm fiending." "No, you're not." Hunter put the pads down. "What's going on?" Elliot sighed and told him. Everything. The cafeteria. The hallway run-ins. Logan. The mockery. Hunter listened, face like carved stone. Only the slight twitch in his jaw betrayed his anger. "Why haven't you stood up for yourself?" he asked finally. "You always said not to fight unless." "Unless it's necessary," Hunter interrupted. "Son, sometimes the fight chooses you." Elliot looked at his hands. "If I fight back, it just makes everything worse. There's a difference between fighting to hurt someone and fighting to protect your dignity," Hunter said. "I didn't teach you to be a bully, but I sure as hell didn't raise a punching bag either." They stood in silence for a moment. Then Elliot spoke. There's a regional tournament next month. Here in town. Hunter smiled. Time to let them see who you are. The next day at school, Elliot walked a little taller. Not much. Just enough for Logan to notice. What's with the new bounce? Logan sneered by his locker. Did you get a new SS speech coach? Nope. Elliot replied coolly, locking eyes for the first time. Logan stared. Something was different. I back off, Elliot added, calm and quiet. Logan's smirk faltered. He reached for Elliot's backpack out of habit but paused halfway. Something about Elliot's voice, his posture, made him think twice. He pulled back. Nearby, a girl named Jasmine Leong, Elliot's locker neighbor, smiled. Well, that was new, she said, finally standing up to King Logan. Elliot shrugged. Jay just tired of it. I hear that, Jasmine said. Let me know if you ever need someone to stand with you. That afternoon, Elliot signed up for the MMA tournament. You sure, Han? The secretary asked. This isn't like dodgeball. I'm sure, Elliot said. By lunch, the news had traveled. Logan cornered him. You? In the FF fighting tournament. Elliot didn't flinch. Yes. You'll get wrecked. Maybe, Elliot said. Or maybe you'll learn something. The comment stung. Logan laughed it off, but his eyes followed Elliot a little longer than usual. Tournament day. The gym buzzed with tension. Fighters warmed up, coaches murmured instructions, wraps were tightened. Elliot stood in the corner of the prep area, silent and focused. He stretched, jabbed, breathed. No stutter now. This was his language. Hunter watched from behind the barrier, arms folded. They're here, Elliot said quietly. Logan had arrived with his entourage and at least a dozen students from Silver Ridge. Even Jasmine. When she saw Elliot, she waved. You ready? Hunter asked. Elliot nodded. His first opponent was no Joe Clanky, fast from a known gym. But Elliot dismantled him in under 2 minutes. A takedown. A choke. Tap. The crowd clapped. From the Silver Ridge section, silence. Logan leaned forward, mouth open. Elliot stood, bowed respectfully, and walked off the mat. No grating. Just presence. Match after match, Elliot advanced. Clean technique. Precise strikes. Submissions like art. More students showed up. Teachers, too. The quiet boy who stammered was becoming something else entirely. By the finals, Elliot had won over half the venue. Even those who came to mock now watched with awe. His final opponent was the reigning champ, tall, built, aggressive. But Elliot had fought tougher. He danced around the power, neutralized strength with skill. His timing was perfect. His gas tank endless. Third round. Submission. Tap out. Victory. The ref raised his hand. The crowd erupted. Even Logan, sitting stiff in the bleachers, clapped once. Monday morning felt like walking through a dream. People nodded. Fist bumps. Thumbs up. Hey man, nice work, from guys who once laughed. At his locker, Jasmine caught up. You know you're famous now, right? Elliot smiled. Guess. Then Logan approached. Students quieted. I saw the match, Logan said. You're legit. I know, Elliot replied. You could have fought back any time. Yes. Why didn't you? Elliot thought. Because fights don't belong in schools. And beating you in front of everyone wouldn't prove anything. Logan blinked. Then, to everyone's surprise, he held out his hand. I was a jerk. I'm sorry. Elliot stared at it. Saw real regret. He shook it. Fresh start. Logan nodded. Fresh start. Also, Logan added, Coach would lose it if you joined the wrestling team. Elliot smiled. Maybe I will. 6 months later, Silver Ridge had a new trophy in its K-State MMA champions. Elliot stood in the team photo, front and center, surrounded by teammates who now knew him not as Stammer Boy, but as their captain. His stutter hadn't disappeared, but it no longer defined him. In the cafeteria, he no longer sat alone. Sometimes it was Jasmine and her friends. Sometimes Logan and the guys. Sometimes new students who needed a safe table. Why'd you let them bully you? Jasmine asked one day. Elliot thought. Because sometimes the strongest move isn't to fight. It's to wait and show them who you really are. At the next table, Logan nodded quietly in agreement. And Elliot Grayson smiled. Because now, finally, The world heard him stutter and all.